Everybody, turn to your neighbor, give them a high five and say, you make me uncomfortable. Everybody stand up. All right, so on the count of 3, I want you to clap your hands and interlace your fingers. Ready? 1, 2, 3, go. Which thumb is on top? Yell it out at me. Okay, it's different for everybody. All right, now unclap, unlace, and clap your hands with the other thumb on top. 1, 2, 3, go. Ooh, how's that feel? Weird, awkward, different. Yeah, I saw some of you straight up just miss, just whoa. All right, now unlace, clap that second way again. 1, 2, 3, go. What'd you notice about the second time? Somebody went back to the original, Omar said? It's still a little bit uncomfortable, a little bit, weird. Let's try it again. 1, 2, 3, go. That second way. All right, and again. And what do you start to notice over time? It starts to get easier, right? It becomes more familiar. And isn't that the process of change? Initially, when change happens, we'll all remember forever what was going on in our lives March 2020. But once we started to get really familiar with some of the changes that were happening, right? It started to get familiar, comfortable, so to speak. Well, maybe not comfortable, that's the wrong word for it. But we started to kind of adapt to it, right? And that's the process of change. And initially, when change happens, naturally and instinctively, your brain is going to release a little bit of cortisol. The survival centers of your brain are going to release a little bit of cortisol and adrenaline because, rewind to caveman days, cavewomen days, back in prehistoric days, if too much change was happening, that meant there was an increased chance of death. So this part of our brain has evolved with us over the course of time. So anytime change happens, instinctively your brain is going to release a little bit of the stress hormone, a little bit of cortisol. And that's natural, right? But it's important to take control of what's going on instead of riding that fear or riding that cortisol into the worst case scenario stories that a lot of us do. How many of you know people like that, right? They get stressed and all of a sudden they go to worst case scenario and they react from there. So our jobs is to become a little bit more internally aware and make sure that we remember when you're uncomfortable, it's a good thing. When you're uncomfortable, that means you're growing and you're learning, you're evolving. So being uncomfortable is a very good thing. Everybody, turn to your neighbor, give them a high five and say, you make me uncomfortable.
And then after his keynote, people were blown away. They were excited, they were motivated, they were energetic.